So we'll start with the second district. Couple questions or comment, please?
No questions, just comments. Mayor, I can still say that for a few more weeks. I just want to really thank you. I want to say that, all of the things that you talked about tonight, all of those wonderful accomplishments. And I know that all of those things happen because of your leadership and because of the work that we've done together here. You mentioned it in terms of the work that we do together, how we push each other, and I think that that is what I'm most appreciative of your leadership style. Even when you don't agree, you're there to listen. And I have certainly seen development, change, and growth in this administration through your leadership at the hands of the people, some of the people you see in this room, some of the people who stand in the back of the room with signs and all of those things. Sometimes that can be really uncomfortable, but you weather that. You weather those moments, and in the end, you sit down and you have those conversations. And I've really seen you take those in, and actually those ideas manifest in real life. And the truth is that doesn't always happen. And so it's funny, I said earlier, it's not often you get to say this, but I get to say it twice. So our loss at the end of this year is also our gain, because no matter where you go, whether you end up in that highest office or anywhere in between, we are proud of you. We're proud to be a part of your story, and we thank you for all the work that you've done.
Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you for your leadership. Just not beyond what has happened in my 2 years on the city council and what has happened in the 3rd district as far as building houses and not gentrification but revitalization on the south side. So I really appreciate the rebuild and the vision that you've had, and with the administration and with council working together, showing that we can make South Bend great and a great place to live again. And working on the lines with the unions and with the schools, and everything that you have done has been exemplified. Even in the tough times, you pushed through and made tough decisions. And I commend you for your leadership and all the work that you have done for us and with us. And I just wish you nothing but the best. And I know that there's a lot of great things to come, not only with you passing the torch to the Mueller administration, but far and beyond. So thank you again for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Neighbor. I appreciate, I really want to thank you for returning to your hometown and giving back in such a great measure and choosing to do it in public service when you could have and done it in many and very different ways in the private sector. That is just an inspiration, I think, and will be an inspiration, currently is, for talent in our city that has left. You have given them a pathway back and to really make substantial difference in your hometown. And to date myself, the year Studebaker closed was the year of my birth. And you nailed it in terms of your characterization of where we were as a city over time. And in, of course, your most eloquent manner that we have been accustomed to hearing. So you're gifted, you're a gifted leader, you're a gifted speaker, gifted communicator. You are amazing at shaping vision, inviting people to jump onto that, and in particular, I think, crafting a staff that has just enormous talent. So thank you for being able to cultivate that and then to deliver on so many amazing things. I'm honored to have shared my one and done term with you. It's been a great ride. I am especially thankful for your leadership on a local, small city, municipal level on climate leadership and enabling us as a community to come together and craft a plan and to acknowledge that more can and will and should be done relative to that. I am especially grateful for the investments that were garnered for the My Southland Parks and Trails program. That's such an invaluable gift that will be here forever and contribute so much to the lifeblood of our city, those investments in communal spaces where we can come together and share our stories, share our struggles, and shape our city. Not just in these venues, but in those. I particularly love the paid parental leadership. The ways that you have led and challenged our community to step up through example on how we pay individuals who work for us and serve us. And that cannot be understated. And also, one of the most difficult things is to recognize that to attract talent and retain talent, you also have to pay them. And you made that a real early priority. And again, I think that set the stage for delivering so many of the accomplishments that you enumerated. My particular takeaway, if you would, on your leadership is that I think foremost of partnerships and collaboration. That has always been at the forefront, and it's enabled us to do things in a much quicker and bigger way, and to do things and innovative things. And as you so aptly said, our city's trajectory has truly been transformed. I thank you for that and wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you.
I didn't know that we were going to have this opportunity, or I would have brought my Festivus list of grievances.
There was a poll down
There's a poll.
All jokes aside, I really didn't know that we were going to have the opportunity to do this, so I'm collecting my thoughts here. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I know that it seems trite and it seems simple and sometimes not enough, but thank you for taking the risk to put your name on the ballot and to be here. I don't think it's a disagreement I don't think it's a secret that we don't always agree on everything, right? But one of the things I found with you, Mayor Pete, is that we can, again, to use something cliche, disagree without being disagreeable. I just finished up a book. I feel like I've been talking about it all night by Ben Sass. It's called Them. He says I have. Yeah. It's called Them. Why do we hate each other and how do we heal? And I'll tell you, this isn't a book that 5 years ago Jake or 10 years ago Jake would have read. And I feel like working up here with these individuals and working with you, right, helps me to realize that before we are Republicans or Democrats, we are South Benders. Before we are South Benders, we are Hoosiers. Before we are Hoosiers, we are Americans. And we have that in common. We all bleed red. And Mayor, thank you for helping me to see that. Thank you for your leadership, even in times where we disagree, for your willingness to reach out to the lone Republican on this council to seek input on a budget in the fall of 2020 when you're in the middle of your last term in the throes of a presidential campaign. It is the last thing that matters, and yet you took the time to do that, and I thank you for that. Again, we disagree, particularly maybe on national policy, but I have enjoyed working with you. I have enjoyed my time on this council, and I think you have a platform now more than ever to take this message America first. America's over Republicans and Democrats, right? We are united. We should be united. We should be together. We can disagree, and as long as we come to the table, as you have with me, without contempt, for me having arrived at my beliefs in a certain place, and you having arrived at your beliefs in a certain place, as long as we can recognize that we are human beings first, that we respect each other, that we can come out on the other side actually healthier than we came in. And I pray that you use this platform to unite us as a country, and I will leave you with that charge. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. When I was coming in here tonight, I thought about two different people who are not with us tonight. And when you were sworn in 8 years ago, and I was sworn in even 12 years ago, both of those persons were here. One of them, your father. The other person's my mother. And we both have had to serve when we both have had to cry. I watch you, whether our differences are whatever, everything else. I had to watch you to make sure I was at the service you had for your father, because of the fact that I know what it's like to serve when I'm in the middle of a funeral and having to fly down and then deal with my mother and then come back up here and deal with that. You stand on the shoulders of your father, and I watched how you, before you got everything ready to kick off to the campaign, you dealt with that, and that was important to me, because I'm in an interesting stage of life now. I'm trying to send messages back to my daughter who's about to graduate, and trying to teach her, as I see my father, who's a Korean War vet, teaching him how I work with him, because the way I work with my older people is going to be the way she's going to deal with me. And I see that. And I saw how you dealt with your father. And that's important. And your mom there, your husband sitting there. Because death is something else. Death passes all politics. And having to have some of the greatest moments of your life, and at the same time they're not there. And make the greatest speeches of your life, to be on the stage with the debates and everything else, and to come home, and I wanted to sit there and call. And mom's not there. And my dad has dementia now, so bless his heart. You forget. When you get to that stage, Democrat, Republican, president, city council, all that stuff kind of sets aside. And you're just a hurting son sometimes, wishing to be able to say, Dad, did you hear my speech last night? Did you hear that debate I did? Or Mom, did you hear that? I miss that. I miss that. And I have other mothers in the city, and I have other people, but there's nobody like that. And so my charge to you is to remember everything they taught you. We both are faculty kids. And you and I talk to Dad in English, and I'm in English, so we both are faculty kids in a sense. And I've always appreciated that about you, because I grew up with faculty kids, and we've had spirited debates, and sometimes we're on the far right, far left, whoopity-doo. At the end of the day, make sure we have a D in the house. That's the way I look at it from the standpoint, because it's a Democrat. But the thing about it, more than that, is we've learned how to deal with death. And still, at the same time, uplift the city, uplift the nation. And that's not always easy. I thought I could do that because I was a social worker, I was a therapist, and I helped a lot of people. But when that call came to me, and it was my mama in the grave, life changed. And it's never been the same. When it came to you, and it was your dad, I saw a different you than I've seen in other times. I mean, we've had budget debates, and we had breakfast and lunch and everything else. I saw you that day at Notre Dame, and you were different, because you entered to a different world where the wind faces you. The parents normally block it. I mean, you can have everything else. Some things protect, you can't block. And when that father is gone, that library is gone. It's you now. But the best thing about it is the legacy. And so as you move forward in all your endeavors, remember the legacy your father taught you, all the trips you went on, all the things. I enjoyed seeing that video that you all had, and it made me think. So as we rise in our lives, it's a blessing that we both have had great parents, and continue to rise in the legacy. Take care of your mom, and as I know you will, and always make your dad proud. Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know. I've never been terribly articulate or inspiring, I don't believe, but I've always tried to do my best. And I've seen mayors come and go. And when you came on the scene, I thought for quite a while, oh brother, it's one of those data-driven millennials. And that troubled me because I really didn't see the human, the compassionate part of you, the feeling part of you, and that's a vital part of public service. But over the years, I think I've seen you grow, or at least I began to recognize what may have always been there that I didn't see at first. And that is that you are a loving, compassionate person that most importantly listens. I mean, you're maybe more articulate than any public servant that I've known, but it's not that so much as the fact that you don't think, I believe, that you're smarter than everybody in the room, so why don't they get it? I think that you do listen. I've seen that. I'm glad from the very start that you kept up with the Mayor's Night Out business. That seems small, but those kinds of little things are so vitally important to leadership. And I'll agree that South Bend is much better off now than we were 8 years ago before you started. I think I'm blessed and privileged to have been a small part of helping you lift us up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just sitting here thinking that I'm currently probably the oldest serving council person today, and not in the history of South Carolina. I want to clarify that. I've learned during my time serving as a public servant that leadership comes with a price, and sometimes it's a lonely place to be at. People will misunderstand you. They will make comments about you. They will share information that's not correct, but still you have to stand and maintain a person's level of character and, most importantly, integrity. You have allowed me to come to you, and your door has always been open. I have come to you and I have stated very clearly, you need to add this into the budget. This needs to happen. You need to move back on this. And you have never, ever responded no. You have listened and you have responded. And I want to share that with the audience because many times that it's not known. But it's a give and take type of relationship that we have. But basically, we all care about this community. South Bend is our community. And as it continues to move forward, it's going to take each and every one of us coming together on common ground to move forward. Mayor Pete, you have outlined a number of accomplishments, challenges that we have, and I believe that we're up to those challenges. And the only way that we're going to be able to move forward in a level that I know that we all have the abilities, the commitment and desires to make South Bend the very best that it can become. And it's a give and take. We have to have the ability to listen. We have to come to the table knowing that we will not always agree. Okay, we're all different. I was sharing with someone the other night, if everyone in this community looked like me and act like me, we would be in trouble. But again, I think it's a level of appreciation that we have for our uniqueness, a level of appreciation for diversity, but also acknowledging that we do have some challenges and that working collectively together, we can address these challenges and we can assure that every citizen in our community that they will have what they need to live a better life. And I'm committed in doing that. I wish you the very best, and I'm going to miss not coming to your office and say, Mayor Pete, We got to do this, you know. And you have listened, and we've been able to move forward. So I appreciate that willingness to have your doors open, but most importantly, how you have responded. So I wish you well, and don't forget South Bend.
Mayor, we started on this journey together 8 years ago. I think one of our first meetings was in a small coffee shop downtown that now I think is a bank and rehabbed as apartments or condos. So it's been really amazing. I appreciate all the meetings, the one-on-ones that you and I have had over burgers, beers, and bourbon sometimes.
Bourbon.
Bourbon, yes.
Well,
So, but I appreciate it. And you're absolutely right, Ms. White, of the time that we have talked, the time that we've spent contemplating, what's right for South Bend and what can be right for this community. And you and I have not always agreed. We've pushed back on each other quite a bit, but we've always had the respect and the dialogue to work through it, and with the idea that what was right for South Bend. So I appreciate all the candid conversations that we've had and the trust that we've built over those 8 years, and the response that you've given me, my district, the people that I represent, and knowing that there's always more work to be done. Appreciate you. I appreciate the team that you've built around over the years. We've seen people come and go, but you've always brought in quality people that understand some of this cutting edge that other people in other communities within not only our state, but our country can learn from. We're not completely done. But, I get asked quite a bit about you from family members, even from Portland, Oregon, and so forth, and they're like, can he do that? It's like, yeah, why not? Why not can someone? Because every one of us at one point, I believe, and everyone in the audience at one point, where either them as a kid or the parents said, you could be mayor, you could be president. And why not? We all have that dream, and I'm glad you have that dream and that drive. Thank you.